we're going to talk about Marvel for a second because a lot of stuff's happening at Marvel, a lot of stuff's happening at Disney, and Bob Iger is getting rid of a lot of stuff. So everybody, I'm excited to talk about that. And that leads me to our featured story of the night. All right, everybody, I want to talk about what's happening over at Disney right now because Bob Iger came forward. He had this whole, they do all these meetings all the time, talking about quarterly meetings, what's going on. And he came forward and he said that they're getting rid of a bunch of stuff quietly. And he said, we're doing a lot, but we need to talk about improving our film, our television, our slate. And there's really three approaches we're taking right now. One is we have to kill things that you no longer believe in. If you don't believe in it, it's got to freaking go, he said. And that's not easy to do in this business because, you've got a lot started and you've got some, money put into it, a lot of costs, but sometimes you just got to kill that. The second thing you got to do is you have to look at everything you're making that you've done and you believe in, and that you have taken a position on that is good and say, hey, it's not good enough. And then get rid of that shit too. And the third thing is you have to strive for perfection, which I think is interesting too. Yeah, strive for perfection. All right. I get that. But also, nothing's ever perfect. And he was talking about how there's no superhero fatigue right now, but it's just that they're not making the best products. And that's the problem is. That they said the fans want great films, and if you build great films, they will come. And right now, we have not been building great films. Now, there's a lot going on right now. Of course, they're doing Daredevil, and Rosario Dawson said she might come back for that. She'd like to come back for that. Deadpool, of course, is coming, and they say they have a lot of faith in Deadpool because, again, that's been doing great. The trailer did amazing. Looks like it's going to be fantastic. Dakota, then, even though it's not there, it's Dakota Johnson over there at Madam Web. She was saying, I don't want to ever doing this again because that movie sucked pretty much, and I'll never delve in this universe again.
She shouldn't say that. That's a bad idea for an actress.
She shouldn't say that. I don't think so either. And then, Miss Marvel said, oh, she's coming back. Ima Vellani said she's coming back to do more. They guaranteed her. And then you have Kang, too. And they're going to be recasting Kang. There's words about maybe recasting Kang, maybe not. Maybe Dr. Doom comes in. But now this is Disney across the board, everybody. So it could be Star Wars. It could be also just Marvel. But the fact that they start bringing up the Marvel stuff and the superhero fatigue makes me think that a lot of this stuff canceled. Now, he's not saying what they have done, but he said they have already quietly canceled a bunch of stuff that nobody knows yet, and they haven't released that yet. So I think a lot of that's going to come down to Marvel. Someone's saying Wonder Man's be canceled. There's no way. They've been shooting. That's almost done. I think it just got done shooting. Why would they cancel that? But you know what? For me, I think that overall, there's these little projects we haven't heard anything about. They haven't moved forward, and Marvel stuff will be getting canceled. I don't know about Star Wars. Pixar. I think Pixar is safe, but I think it's going to be in the Marvel universe. Don't you think, Sean? That's what he's probably talking about.
Yeah, I completely would understand his concerns and think that a lot of what he's saying happens or could happen with cut Marvel content. I don't know if Wonder Man would be safe. We saw it before where Warner Brothers is cutting things because they're worried about its impact of how bad it was, on its bottom line versus on the other films in the franchise and whatever. I feel like, Marvel Disney Marvel went too wide with a lot of this latest phase.
Preach it.
What?
Preach it, brother.
Yeah, man.
Sean.
Some of it was fine, right? I thought Hawkeye was okay, right? Jeremy Renner, great guy, obviously. Miss Marvel, I thought was a gem. I enjoyed it. I liked WandaVision. Loki was great. Did I need Echo? Probably not. Do I need Armor Wars? Do I even know what that's going to be? No. Of course,
I think that's gone.
Daredevil back. I definitely think Armor Wars is gone. I'm worried about Thunderbolts. I am worried about Wonder Man. I just, again, right, it's when you consider what little threads they've thrown out there, right? They put they're so excited about their 1960s Fantastic Four. They're putting that out there. What happened? We got leaked footage from Daredevil showing Punisher shows up, of course, right? These are things that people have been asking for, fans have been wanting. And I think they're realizing, hey, we flooded the market with too many disparate characters that people didn't really want. We didn't. Oh my God! Don't even get me started about the Marvels. They fucked themselves, right? They threw out too much stuff. They weren't worried about quality. They were just worried about filling that slate. And the quality, the project suffered. The audience got fatigued. And they're just really, there's no hope really at this point for there's no trust. I would say that. I would say the trust that fans have in the Disney run Marvel at this point, to deliver them a good product at this point. I think a lot of hope is on what Deadpool 3 could be. July can't come soon enough. We'll see that. But yeah, I mean, there was so much. I mean, Shang-Chi got the shaft, right? Again, but that also, it's tough, right? Fucking COVID affected that stuff. So
I know.
It's difficult. Obviously, something has to change. They can't keep doing this. They can't keep out getting a product and watching how poor the audience reception is, how little money or how much they're not making back on their investments. It's got to change. So I'm all for less content, more higher quality content. I can't think of a group that's really done that effectively. AMC, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, it's again, if we're leading to Secret Wars.
Is that the savior?
I think Daredevil, I mean, God damn it. I keep fucking singing Charlie Cox. I think Deadpool is going to be the bailiwick. It's going to be like the thing that we're going to look to and say, if this works, if this gives us this out, we can take it and go from there. So a lot is riding on this. And yes, it's not a core, Marvel property, right? It's disappointing. It's disappointing to see this is where we're at, especially considering the first 4 phases.
I know,
very
good.
Rarely did you have like a misstep. There were definitely things. Thor 2 obviously wasn't a great thing, but like you didn't have like a season full of Thor 2s. It was just there, and people still saw it. And but like, yeah, exactly. Like the expectations were super high. They said, well, fuck it, we got to ride this train, put out more shit as much as we can. And it's bit them in the ass. So I'm not surprised. I think there has been some words about some Star Wars projects getting canceled. I know that they made a big hubbub about a Rey Skywalker movie, and the director was like super announced and then like quietly canned. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Yeah,
I know they're still trying to do something with Rey, and I know that Rey. There was some news that came out recently about it, but I don't know. Like the Rey one could be good, but then I don't know. There's Skeleton Crew coming out that keeps moving forward. They said there's the one
Dave
with
Filoni is their golden goose at this point, so let him do whatever the fuck he wants right now.
The Mandalorian Grogu's moving forward as a movie, and they have all those big tax credits happening.
That one's going to move forward. Yeah, I don't think we have any worries about them continuing to cash in.
My local
Grogu.
Grocery store had a Mandalorian it felt like a tier 3 stuffed animal that you'd find in like a claw machine in like Nebraska or something. They just fucking had it. I was like, okay, Mandalorian's everywhere now.
Mandalorian's safe. And anybody that thinks that Pedro Pascal is not going to come back and do that voice to be too busy, think again. He's going to be doing that Mando voice. And that's probably built into his Fantastic Four contract. Come on, let's be serious about this. It's the same company.
Yeah. Same company.
Yeah,
Monopolies, baby.
Monopolies. Run the world. Get old Bob Iger. Mike, what do you think? Do you think that Marvel is, I think Marvel's be the biggest person affected by this whole cut thing? Think they've been cutting those shows, or think there's some other aspect of Disney that Bob Iger could be talking about?
It kind of seems like that's probably where the majority of their production budget is going these days. I got to imagine, right? Like, and they keep developing properties. Like, I think Sean hit it on the head. I think Richard hit it in the chat. Too much content, right? This is the Hollywood brain drain. Our talent is being spread too thin. We need a little bit more butter on our bread. Don't spread them all out. I think AMC was a good call, Sean, because I think that the fix for this is auteurship. Get your Vince Gilligans in there and start giving them power, which is interesting because that's kind of how that's kind of the ethos of Marvel, though, right? Like get a couple of big creative brains and stick some power, but
it's worked for HBO too. I mean, yeah, like I've been hearing so much good buzz about Ronin. That's on AMC, right? Mm-hmm. That just kind of started, and then HBO obviously has True Detective, and Tokyo Vice apparently is just super fucking great. Yeah,
there's so much, Sean. We've got all these competing studios, but we're trying to run like a dozen different AAA properties at once. And I just don't know that the public has the ability to, ingest it all without just kind of becoming divided. And when that happens, like, people just care less. You don't get the same cultural phenomenon that results in those, multi-billion-dollar box offices.
But that being said, right, like, I would prefer, as a fan of content and a enjoyer of content and plenty books and whatnot, like, I would prefer to choose over 5 to 10 really fucking great things
100%
than 20 things that ate up the budget of those 10 things that might not be as good.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 100%.
But like, I think that's the model that Hollywood has, right?
That's what Netflix started doing, right? It was a spaghetti against the wall situation. Like, you just give money to a bunch of teams.
Hope one hits, and there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's how studios went bankrupt in the 80s and 90s from doing that shit. They flooded the market with mediocre content, hoping they'd get one runaway hit, and then boom, that'd cover the losses of 9 other movies. That's not going to happen now. Like, you can't fucking do that anymore, and yet we're still getting that. They haven't learned that lesson. It's ridiculous. I watched there's a really great YouTube channel called Bullets and Blockbusters. They do a fantastic deep dive into canceled projects that started off well and didn't get into it, whatever. One I watched recently was about the Fantastic Four, just about other things going on, and how bungled the entire thing was about just keeping rights, right? They were never going to make a right movie. They were never going to treat it the way it was. They just need to do it as an option. And keep it, and I got to own this until it's super hot. And it's bullshit.
It's bullshit. Look how it worked out for them.
Speculative, yeah. It's a speculative market in that regard. And I would prefer less content. We get so much shit. Again, you mentioned Upload. I haven't thought about Upload in 3.5 years. Like, and that show's still going. Fuck, I know, right? Like,
it sounds like Bob agrees with you, though, Sean. It sounds like that's what he's saying.
I'm fine with that.
He's also trying to cut all these TV shows in general. He was saying that too. Like, why are we making so many TV shows? Let's just go theatrical again. Let's do less. But there are a bunch of movies coming still. But like, I mean, honestly, they had an idea. They tried it. It didn't work. They cost them a lot of money, and they kept throwing it at the wall. Like, WandaVision did great. That was one thing. But then after WandaVision, I feel like we were just trying new things and stuff were not sticking. Like Hawkeye, it was an all right show. I actually liked Moon Knight. A lot of people hated it,
Moon Knight was great. I thought Moon Knight was great. Like, again, right? Like, Oscar Isaac, fantastic actor. Give him a good character. I felt like the writing was hit or miss on that, but like, he still acted the fuck out of that paper bag, and I would gladly watch that again. We're probably not going to get another Moon Knight show. He might show up if they refocus this. Like, again, I think a lot of hope is also going on this notion of, we went so big with this multiverse and universes and space. But like, stories that have worked for Marvel for decades have always been grounded things that take place within a couple square miles of New York City, right? Like those kind of stories of what have resonated with audiences. And yes, it's great to go Ant-Man, go to Quantumania and punch Kang, and you did it. That's fine, I guess. But like, seeing a Daredevil, like fighting Vincent D'Onofrio.
So good.
That fucking felt better, right? Like, I enjoyed all of that much more than I cared about. We're traveling all these planets in the Marvels. Oh my god,
dude, your favorite, your freaking favorite, right?
Such a fucking problem.
It almost feels like Bob Iger is directly responding to the Marvels with his comment.
I mean, it, like, Marvels to me was like, why are we doing this? We're showing off these really fucking weird planets all of a sudden. Our villain is trying to do a Spaceballs. Like, it was just so fucking weird.
You're right. Where's the vacuum at?
Overloaded. Sam Jackson was sitting down for 90% of his scenes too. And I love the guy, but holy fuck, what are we doing?
He was like collecting a paycheck. That's what he was doing.
Again, Miss Marvel was fantastic in the movie. Got nothing's bad about that. But again, these are all they're in space. They travel to a planet. They travel to another planet. We're on a planet for a little bit. Great, that planet's saved. Go to the next one. And it was just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I need something grounded. You need
that
something
dance
grounded.
number was a lot too. The dance number was a lot. There was a lot of things. The cat thing was a lot. But then they threw in Beast at the end because they're like, well, we got to throw something in. They tied into the X-Men. But I think that they're looking at everything, how they've just not been doing well. The Marvels was one of their biggest bombs. I think that they look at numbers like this is just not the right direction we're going. So hopefully when they get to their theatrical slate, they start bringing up better things. Again, they get Captain America, Brave New World. It's like having like 80% of its reshout right now. It's insane.
Serpent Society is just gone. Sorry, Seth Rollins.
Get out of here. Sorry, man. And that's happening. So I think we're going to hear more of these projects probably going away. I wouldn't be surprised if like they get rid of the Kang Dynasty completely, just make it Secret Wars and just move on right to Secret Wars and just get rid of all that shit. Now they say I have a new writer coming on board for that, but I have a feeling I think it's just going to change. They took the names away already. It might just be Secret Wars 1 and 2, and then we'll figure that out from there. And then we bring in the X-Men. Maybe the X-Men will be the savior. Maybe that's what they're thinking now. I don't know. But I think at the end of the day, all these little minor things, with these little minor stories and characters we thought we were going to get, I think a lot of those would be going the wayside. You're right. They might pull like a Zaslav thing and just start taking massive write-offs too. That could happen.
Yeah, I mean,
it sounds like they're planning for something.
It can happen with minimal repercussions, right?
Yeah, minimal.
Yeah, everyone thinks he's a dick, and he did all these things, but
he's doing something to try to save the company.
They're still making a fucking Mad Max, Furiosa.
Furiosa, that's coming out.
It's coming out.
I want to see that. Might be good. Who knows?
I'll see it. I like the Mad Max movie, the first one, and George Miller. Come on.
But this whole thing, like Marvel is, hearing this, I'm like, I knew this was right on the wall. More shows would probably be getting canceled. We haven't had the actual slate put out there canceling, but just wait. Probably another week or two, we'll start hearing more and more about this. And especially by summer, we're going to have more news. And I know for sure that Marvel is just in a bad spot.
Can you put up Richard Tracy's last comment about Brave New World, by the way?
He said Brave New World.
So this is so true. Richard Tracy, you nailed it on the head. Marvel does not own the Hulk name, okay? So they cannot ever have the Hulk be a titular role. They got away with the She-Hulk because they didn't own She-Hulk, but they don't own the Hulk. That's why the Thor movie, which was Thor Ragnarok, was pretty much a buddy comedy of Thor and Hulk. You couldn't call it Thor and Hulk. It's an entirely fucked up system of holding on to rights and negotiating. Just the level of what your name shows up on the poster, right? It's so fucking stupid. But yeah, we'll never get Marvel will never do a specific Hulk movie because they do not own the full rights to it.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah.
And you know what? If they did, they would do it tomorrow. But they're going to figure out a way to dance around the fine lines. And I know Marvel will be okay, but I just know that it's going to take some time for them to get their audience back and to figure out what they're doing. And I think these changes are probably for the best. I can't wait to see what shows are going to be gone. And I think really, again, they said across the board, but I guarantee this is going to be affecting Marvel the most. We'll have to wait and see. But Bob Iger making massive cuts, everybody. And it's already happened. We have to wait to find out what those are going to be.